Previously on Beanies in a Pod. We didn't get cancelled. Like, we were like,
absolutely shocked.
are you sure that happened? that is mental.
We provide unsecured interest-free loans to His Majesty's Revenue and Customs.
Well, even only 20% of the whole industry use accounting tools.
17.
What?
17?
Yeah.
What's the word, Phil?
Her question was
help me
quite
out
brutal.
here.
And now, the conclusion.
Okay, so let me go reverse order then.
Okay.
Number 3. I would say number 3 would have been. It was a sustainability. So I covered, I think, four or five. In fact, I covered all of the available sustainability
Wow.
talks. I know I was dedicated to the cause here, and highs and lows across those. I'd be honest with you. There were some that I thought were superb, and others I thought were not superb. And I think the frustrating thing for me is I obviously went there to find out, right, how do SMEs go about, what do they do, how do they do it, where do you go, what do you use, what's the rules, what are you going to, and too many talks made it just too high a level. And well, yeah, these are the regulations, and it was almost do what you can, and that's no, I can't really do anything with that. That was useless for me. And then they showed me examples and use cases of huge companies, massive companies, and I can't relate to that.
Yeah, again, that's no good, is it?
It doesn't help me. So great, they
UK
spent like £2.5 million on a B Corp. Oh, great, that's more than my annual revenue. Well, that doesn't help me.
Yeah.
So there was those that really disappointed me and felt let down by, and then there were ones that were actually they were very open about the fact that no one really knows all the answers. Even the big companies that have the regulatory reporting requirements and laws behind them are still figuring it out. So it was quite refreshing to say that everyone was just very honest, or one or two were just so honest about where we actually all are. And it makes me feel better in a lot of ways. Not so, but in the same token, probably not great, because I thought we were further along. And I thought there'd be more for me to use. But so my third one was these guys, Nick Riley and Rhonda Allen, Sustainability X. And it was basically, what does a mature, sustainable business look like? So they use some larger examples of this is the sort of things that other successful companies have done, but here's some not so bigger ones, and here's what we've done with some smaller companies, right the way down to single founder companies, all the way up to thousands of employees and everything in between. And they recommended frameworks so here's a framework that you can work with as a basis to get started. So they gave really useful information like that, some really useful source of information to go to, and I found it just refreshing.
That's good.
Refreshing. So it didn't answer everything, but it started to point me in the right direction.
So it didn't just give you a goal; it kind of gave you a roadmap of where you can start to head to.
It's basic. No, it's more about how do you start creating a blueprint and a roadmap for your sustainable.
Putting the foundations in.
It is very much so. Yeah. It was like a cement trick rocking up, ready to pour, sort of give me that basis to move on. So that combined with one or two others I did have really helped a lot. But yeah, that one was very good. I would say the second favourite one was probably the Human Firm. We'll find out. I won't go on about it. We've talked about it more, but more because it gave me context that it was missing for me. Because and he explained when he wrote the book, they originally came up with, they thought it was going to be something like 20,000 words. It ended up being 40,000 words. And then they realised that they did all the Q&As and the use cases and the interviews, and that ran to another 70,000 words. So they're all going to go onto a website, but they cut them out of the book. So that's why some parts of it felt a little bit rushed, maybe a bit disjointed, because they had to fit it in. They wanted the book to be a certain size, and
that's interesting.
Because you can imagine if that book was another maybe a half or third longer,
it
would have taken it from 200 pages to 350
400 odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different book then, right? So that's why. But anyway, it just put some more flavour, some more flesh on the bones. So it was really good. And nice to catch up with him afterwards as well, and just make the introductions.
He's a very good speaker, isn't he, and presenter?
Yeah, he's very interactive. He's very dynamic.
There's that word again. So that was my number 2. I won't go on about that, but we'll cover more about the human firm. But what's interesting is obviously the technology is the enabler of the human firm, but you don't get to do the good stuff until you've done the enablement. But we'll talk about that more in the weeks and stuff ahead. But I'd say probably my favourite one was with a guy called Lee Chambers, and the subject was accounting for well-being for accountants.
Okay.
So he had a really fantastic and fascinating life story. Started out as went to university, came out, went into financial services and the sort of fintech, that kind of the background. Was doing really well. Suddenly, his immune system collapsed on him. Found himself at 29 in hospital, unable to even breathe for himself.
Wow.
He had a wife, a brand new child at the time, and his life basically got flipped upside down underneath him.
That's tough.
And it turns out, of course, that a lot of the stuff that led to that was him not being good, not feeling right, well-being and everything else. And these things just creep up on you and suddenly snap. And so he got himself back on his feet, and he went back to university, and he thought he was going to retrain. And he was always interested in psychology and sociology, and so he studied that, but he went and became an accountant. For whatever reason. So he's now an accountant, but he's also he's specialising now in well-being. So he's doing some very fantastic work. But again, this is another thing I was looking for. What does well-being really mean? Because we all think we know what it means, but really, I have no idea. And so he talked through it a lot, and he gave some. He put up a slide actually. He had about 15 points on it, and he asked the room, which ones out of these words, and lots of different words on there, like ones that were related to financial and health and lots of different words. Which ones for you mean well-being to you? So we went through each one, and some people put hands up, and at the end he went, well, that's really mixed, loads of different answers, but actually the top 3 things that mean well-being aren't on the board.
A trick question.
Yes, it was one of those. And the top 3 things, so I think it was a reverse order, if I remember it. So number 3 was inclusion.
Okay.
Number 2 was... no, I can't remember. I forgot number 2, but number 1 was belonging.
Which is similar from the talk that you had before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah, it does.
So if you feel inclusive and you belong, you feel you belong, and rather than standing out, and you feel you belong and you identify with the cause and the purpose, those are the major things for good well-being, which then prevents ill health and mental health issues. I'll have to remind that we'll put the third one out because it's in my notes, but I've forgotten. So anyway, but they're the top 3 things. But we'll obviously talk a lot more about that. But I'm going to do a lot more work on this because it's going to be part of my sustainability or our sustainability plan.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were my top 3.
Brilliant.
Let's move on to your honourable mentions.
Honourable mentions.
Top
Some of
3
them,
plus honourable
I'd
mentions.
say more notable, because honourable was probably inappropriate for 1 or 2 of the ones I'm going to mention.
Oh, right, okay.
So let's make it
notable.
Notable
mentions. Some honourable, some not.
Yes. You remember when we first walked in the entrance?
Yes.
And there were 2 people dressed as trees.
The tree peeps.
The tree peeps.
Oh.
Remember them?
I forgot about
the
them.
ladies on the
Yeah.
stilts. And So,
Yeah.
And do you know what they were for?
No.
Karma?
Karma.
Oh,
C-A-R.
Come on,
right.
you could have guessed that.
Right,
It's
'cause they were
sustainability
sponsoring-
people.
Karma,
Yes.
Karma Chameleon. So they were with Karma, the tree planting sustainability people. You doing a little dance then?
I was doing the little Karma.
Karma
Yeah.
Chameleon. Okay, great. I like that. You've got a great singing voice, Bill.
I know.
So they were for Karma, and I again went to see them because I was, we'll talk more about this another time.
Yeah,
but I was
yeah,
really dubious and cynical about this plant trees thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk about that why I was cynical later on. But this, I went up and saw them, and I went away feeling a lot brighter and lighter and less cynical than I was.
That's good.
So credit to Karma. I think it was Jim.
Yeah, there were some really good guys over at
You
Karma.
spoke to him
I
as
spoke
well.
to him.
He's the ex-service, so definitely going to be speaking to him again.
Again, very passionate. Again,
Hopefully have him even on one of these podcasts.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
I think that's the plan. But yeah, a quick shout out to Karma. Very good. This is just the beginning. The second one, you've both mentioned him already, but Ecology.
Yeah.
Linda and Camilla. Fantastic, passionate, helpful, insightful. And again, I'll talk about more of this, but special mention for them definitely. The other one was WealthVox. I don't know if you remember walking up through the centre almost, and there was this, in the stand, there was this wall with these coloured boxes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Profit and loss balance sheet. Well, these guys do training for accounting.
Oh, yeah, I know the booth you're talking about.
Brilliant stuff. A really interesting talk with them. They're even providing training for accounting firms now.
That's cool.
Wow.
So they do it in a color coding sort of place. Really interesting. And I had a suggestion to him. I said, this framework you've got with the colors, it's a balance sheet and effectively a framework. I said, why don't you just take out balance sheet and profit and loss and put in sustainability? It works as well. Light bulb moment. You should have seen him. He said, oh my God. So if there's a WealthVox sustainability training program comes out, I'm looking for my royalties, finding fees. So that was WealthVox. That was really good. We'll talk more about that one another time as well. Now the elephant in the room.
Oh, God.
And I've got to mention this one because I'm still stunned. But
I still don't believe you, to be honest.
I really hope that there's a video of this, but I think
really hope there
I
isn't.
think there won't be. Like, if it's exactly how you describe it, there's no way they'd put a video
And I don't
of
even
this
know
out.
how to fully explain this now, but it was a complete horror story. So I went to, it was one of the last ones of the day, and I won't shame the person who was presenting or the firm involved, but it was basically, will AI replace humans? And I have to say, from the first 5 minutes of the presentation, I certainly hope so. But is all I can say.
Oh,
Because I think ChatGPT could have done a less offensive job than he did.
yikes.
So what happened was, without going into lots of detail, if you were there, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But the person who was supposed to deliver the presentation was, for whatever reason, not there. Couldn't come.
He'd stitched the guy up, that's why.
He dodged a bullet.
Because I'm thinking about it now in my head. I don't know how...
Hang on, let me explain
Yeah,
it.
just go. Yeah.
So they couldn't turn up. A stand-in was found, probably the support person who worked with them.
Oh.
Now, with AI, one of the downsides of AI are bias, and the long
Yep.
history that we've had with bias being built into intelligent solutions and the algorithms, so when it notices images and imagery and things like that. And we know this is a given. You actually need bias in AI to an extent. It's a good thing, but obviously there's been a lot of bad stuff in the past. Not enough data has been fed in, and it's done some really daft and offensive things to members of our society. That's a terrible thing, and that's accepted. There's no debate about that. But the problem was that this person had these slides up, and if you put these slides up with these images showing what AI did with these images, without having a very concise, clear
Oh dear.
narrative to explain what you're seeing on the screen, it was almost like no one was talking, or someone was talking that you didn't understand a word that is said, and they just put 3 incredibly offensive slides up in a row.
It was basically racist, wasn't it?
It was. Yes.
Straight up just racist.
Yes. And because the person didn't know the subject well enough, didn't know the slides, and didn't, and this is no offense, but he didn't speak, his English was not his first language, so he was struggling like hell to actually find the words to get out. And the words he did find were the offensive ones. So he didn't have the narrative to fill in all the sentences. He just basically used the offensive words with the offensive images, and it was a train wreck.
Looked like a bit of a hate speech.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like going to a Trump rally or something. It was just ridiculous. It was
That's
it was a
great.
horror story.
I would have loved to walk past that presentation. Like, what?
It was a horror story. And
Yeah.
have you got anything worse?
No,
Like the death march, maybe.
they're all just sort of clapping and like
Okay.
drum rolls.
So that was the ugly. We have had the good, we've had the bad, and
The
that's
ugly.
the ugly. And boy,
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
the low point, and a few one of very very few low points.
You'd like to hope that you've just witnessed the lowest point of that man's career, because if it's not, like,
Wow.
wow.
Wow. So anywho, with all of that done, obviously we went to Accountex with our manifesto in mind.
We
I
did.
specifically wanted to learn more about sustainability and mental well-being. I have learnt an awful lot, and there's a lot to do though.
There is.
But it is a journey. It's not a project. It's not going to be done in 2 weeks. It
No.
doesn't work that way. It is a lifetime adoption of a strategy and a plan that you adopt, and it becomes business as usual. There's a lot to do. I'm still learning, but I've got some fantastic content. I've got some great connections and contacts, and I've got a path forward now that I didn't have before.
Yeah.
So what I'm actually going to do, because it's going to be such a big thing and so much to do, and it's going to involve everyone in the company. This isn't something where I go off and design it and go there, here you go, here's our sustainability, tick, boom. That would be, for me, a massive failure. Because
Yeah.
for me, that's, again, just another tick the box. Yep, we did sustainability, we're doing our bit. And I think, no offence to anyone who's doing, well, we're planting trees and so we're good, and no offence to that, but there's a hell of a lot more to this than I first thought. In terms of sustainability covers a lot. It covers the climate and the carbon footprint and net zero, and it covers all those things. And from what I heard, net zero is almost impossible, but it covers all of those things. But it also covers, so it's environmental, social, and governance.
Yeah.
So yes, that's all the environment and climate, and that's the trees and getting your measure and all that kind of stuff. That's important, but it also covers mental wealth, well-being, health,
Hellbeing.
fitness. Maybe it covers that too, and it covers the governance of it all, and the framework and the reporting and the regulations. So there's a ton in there. That's going to take time. It's going to take everybody. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to record our journey. I'm starting from scratch, from ground zero. So I'm going to record the journey that I go on developing our sustainability program.
A little series.
It will be a series, and I'm going to make plenty of cock-ups along the way, but I'm going to be very open and honest. So every mistake I make, I'm going to share it. Every success we have, I'm going to share that, and everything in between.
That's
And I want to
fantastic
share
attitude.
the journey that I go through, because I can't honestly imagine I'm alone here.
No, I don't
There's-
think you will be.
And the scary thing is, right, there's like 6 million businesses in the UK. 99% of them are SMEs. So 99% of those 6 million companies have 50 employees or less. We employ 50% of the people in the United Kingdom. So it's all well and good that the large companies have the regulations and the frameworks and the money to do it, but we probably contribute as much to,
If not more.
if not more, to the sustainability and the targets that our country and the world have committed themselves to. And at the moment, it's an afterthought. It's the big companies doing stuff, and at some point, like I say, we've got big customers. For them to comply with the targets and to hit their goals, they will require their supply chain to also have clear commitments and plans and targets and goals in place. We will need to demonstrate to our large customers that we have a sustainability plan, that we are actively working on it, that we are either hitting or missing our targets, and why, and what are we doing then to change it. And if we don't have that in place, we may lose the ability to provide services to large customers. So it's not a case of can we get on board, should we get on board?
Yes, we have to.
We must.
Yeah.
We have no choice. But that regulatory requirement side, right? I mean, that's nice. That's the legal side, and that's the commercial side of it's good. We have to do it. But I don't want this to be a tick box exercise.
No.
I want to do it because I want us to do it, because it's the right thing to do, and because we want to do it, and because it's going to change the world. that's the right reasons to do it for. So we've got to comes back to what you said, purpose.
Yeah.
A why. So we've got to have purpose, we've got to have belonging, we've got to have a shared vision. We've all got to work on something that's going to change the world around us. And that's got to be for the environment, for climate, for social and well-being. You know, making people walk around conferences for 2 days, breaking their feet, is not good for well-being. I've learned this.
It's funny for you to watch, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's hilarious.
That's hell being.
Yeah.
There we go. Coming back.
Quick, I know I mentioned this to you guys, but for the benefit of everyone else, just a very quick one. I mentioned that back in the days, myself and some colleagues of mine, we used to actually have a concertina. What do you call it? I don't know, stand.
Yeah.
We used to turn up at the conference in the morning, erect the stand, put everything together, get your laptop out and get it all laid out. Do the whole day, do the seminar, go and do a round table, get back to the stand and do all the stuff all day long, and do your own social media. And there was 2 of you doing the whole thing. And then you collapse it all up at the end of the day around 7 o'clock, get back, get some sleep, come back in the next day and do it all again.
That's crazy.
And we did it in a suit, a shirt and a tie and smart shoes.
No. Just no. I was wearing comfy shoes
And you
and
still
I
wrecked.
struggled.
So, yeah, that's why our generation doesn't always get the well-being thing. Because in our case, in our day,
got
you
on with
just
it.
suck up and get it on with it. And there was no, so it's at different times. It's not deliberate. It's not anything about it. But our generation is getting around to understand, well, actually, there's more to this. So anyway, that's a good thing. But I am going to document our story and our journey and share it. I'm going to, the whole warts and all, it's all going to go out there. Because I think, even if one person hears it, if it helps one other company on their journey, then it's been worthwhile.
Absolutely.
Because I honestly don't believe we're alone. So there's going to be a lot more. I'm going to share a hell of a lot in this stuff because I'm going to share it as I learn it. It's going to be real time.
Keep people along the journey with you.
It will, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. And if it
Very
helps
exciting.
someone, great. And, if it doesn't,
Well,
nothing lost
hopefully-
because we're still going to achieve what we want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully people do, though. Because as I was talking to people in the ecology booth and the mental health booth, it's not something one person can do and then it's just fixed. It's
No.
everyone has to get on the bandwagon together and push for it for it to actually
You
be
do.
some change.
You
can't
do.
It's not a one-man army.
It's not possible. And
No.
that's another thing with the tree. I mean, I will talk about it more, but the tree thing. I'm not anti the tree thing, by the way, right? Just for sake. But
Maybe calling it the tree thing.
I like that though.
Planting trees.
Yeah, and I've nothing against planting trees. Planting trees is great. I mean, it should be done, right? But for me, and not just for me, but for the scientists too, that is offsetting. But it's not reducing.
No.
No, it's like eating a
putting a
McDonald's and then going to
plaster.
the gym the next day.
Yeah, it's like it's just putting a
Yeah,
plaster on
okay.
it doesn't actually solve the problem. You've got to reduce, and to do that at the moment, the only way is to actually just stop driving, stop traveling, and stop living, which we obviously can't do. So it's finding that balance. But I'm going to share everything I do, everything I'm learning. I'm going to get some things wrong. I'm going to misquote stuff, and I'm going to make some things will be brilliant, some things won't. I just hope someone's listening and I get some feedback on it. But we're going to do it anyway.
It's going to be a fantastic journey.
It will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. But like Willy Wonka at the end, and he goes in the lift and he flies up into the sky.
Okay.
You know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what. That's
So
what
you want to
it
be
like.
Charlie, and you want Will Farnell to be there
Yeah.
with you?
Yeah. No. What? Where did you get this from?
He's not. What?
You two are flying off together?
No.
No.
No. But he said it on Willy Wonka, and it goes, do you know what the boy who got everything he ever wanted for, Charlie? Do you know what happened to him?
No.
He lived happily ever after.
So is that the answer? Sustainability helps you live
Something like
happily
that.
ever
Something
after.
like that. Anywho, right.
Anyway,
We
moving
are-
on to the final 2 sections of the podcast.
Yes.
2 returning sections. I don't know if you can
Yes,
say
Phil.
that from
For
one
episode
episode.
2.
One of them. You can.
But we've got names for actually the first one we have a name for now.
Yes.
The second one
So
is the debut of this.
You may remember from last time. What did we have last time?
Wagon wheels and
Yes.
squashies.
Oh, yes.
Is there a drum roll here? Snack attack. one more time.
Good.
Welcome to Snack Attack.
I love it. Phil, you're hired. And drum roll, here we go.
Oh, okay.
So, this week, I have brought along, and I haven't had these, I can't even remember the last time I had one of these.
Really?
Yeah, honestly. So
Okay.
when we were kids and we used to have packed lunches at school, one of the things you always had, you had your round of sandwiches, an apple,
Yep.
and a penguin.
Here we go. So for the audio listeners, we've got some penguins on a plate, and also some
So you have
party rings.
different
I think
images
they're
on all of
called.
them. So you've got.
Penguin.
And obviously the jokes. The jokes, we'll cover the jokes.
So, like I say, these might still be quite common, but I haven't had a penguin.
What type
no.
of pasta do penguins eat? Penguini. Anyone?
Oh.
That's
Anyone?
terrible.
Oh. Why are penguins good racing car drivers?
Don't know.
Because they are always in pole position.
Oh my god.
Cracking joke that is. Let's go.
How do penguins get around? On a bee icicle.
I think that says it all. Rapper drop.
Even better though. That's actually quite nice.
I do like a penguin.
I'll be honest with you. I thought that was going to stir memories. It doesn't.
Oh.
It's not what I remember.
Oh no.
I feel like it used to be a bit softer.
They've changed the.
Right, okay.
That's just been thrown across the room. Penguins are out.
They've changed the damn recipe. I'm disappointed.
There goes the penguin sponsorship.
I feel like I'm back on that day and that meeting. Anyway, and the even better though. Ice rings, party rings.
Party rings. Yeah, here we go.
Now these are a classic. These remind me of the beach.
I don't think I've had these in a while.
These remind me of the beach. When we used to go down to the beach in summer, beach hut,
You'd have party rings.
Peter rings.
Oh.
Yeah, party rings. Dig in.
Okay. I believe I've had these once.
Once. And you've still got, so you know, a little fresh biscuit.
Very hard. They are. I don't know why you're looking at me like that.
This from the man who had to rest on day one.
Whoa. There was no rest going on. I was walking all over the place.
That wasn't too bad.
No, it was nice. I just thought they were quite crunchy.
Yeah, I thought that would be a lot softer, more like a digestive kind of thing.
You know what? My memory is sweeter.
God, you're not going to throw these as well.
Oh,
No.
No. How like a frisbee, that will.
I can highly recommend these.
Oh, here we go. Pushing for the party ring sponsor. Beanies of the Pod is brought to you by Party Rings.
These are good. I like these. I've not seen much of the penguins. No.
Well, we know that.
Yeah, we
It's
can
been
see it.
Thrown across the floor. Poor penguin.
It's a thumbs up for the party rings.
Right. So, that was... No.
Oh dear.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's a double whammy for me, that is. That was... Snack Attack.
I love that. Oh dear.
So now moving on to the final part of the podcast. In future, we're going to be asking this to our guests, but since we don't have one today, we're going to mix it up a little bit, and we're going to use the Accountex theme. This is a section called Hide or Pride. So it's going to be one thing that we're proud of and want to show off, and one thing that we're just like, we've got to get rid of that. I'm hiding that. I'm not letting anyone know about it. But we are, because we're mentioning it on a podcast. Today, we're going to do it with the merch that we got from Accountex. So, one bit that you're happy with, one bit that you're like, no. Aaron, do you want to go first?
I can go first. Give me. Should I start with what I'm happy with, or not?
Yeah,
I
go with what you're happy with.
Right. So, zero
Zero.
booth. It's quite busy. I was quite proud I got this. The zero football.
Oh,
This was not an easy thing to get. Day one, just as I got to the zero
they
booth,
ran out, didn't they? We were
they
both
ran
there.
out. There was a lady, and I looked at her, and she looked at me,
And then she grabbed it.
ran in and grabbed the ball for.
Your eyes met over an inflated ball.
It's a zero ball.
For the audio listeners, it's just a football. It's got the light blue zero colours and then just the logo printed all over it.
It's actually not a great ball, but it's not it's not awful, to be honest.
As Phil would say, he doesn't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Yeah. I'm quite proud of that, just because I know I'm the only person that I saw with it.
It's difficult to get hold of.
Yeah, when I showed people, they were like,
"Where'd you get that?
Where'd you get that? That's a
Do you
zero
have a football?"
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a ball.
So what's your hide?
My hide. No, I think we saw these together, didn't we? It is.
We did. Oh, don't. This is the hide.
We'll edit that. We'll bleep that. I mean, you can see the logo on the side. We'll bleep that out.
Okay, that's fine. Unlucky.
It's a pig.
It's a pig, but it's
in more ways than one.
Oh,
yeah.
It looks like, so again, for the audio listeners, it's kind of like, if you ever Angry Birds, it kind of looks like the little green pigs in Angry Birds, like the evil pigs. Oh. The problem with this pig, you can go over this, Aaron, but
it doesn't smell great.
It kind of eggy.
It's not fantastic. You wouldn't want to leave that in your... Yeah, oh God.
The pig's gone.
Okay.
The pig's gone. The pig has now joined the penguin.
That's a new thing
it actually
we're doing.
has. The pig has joined the penguin across the room. I don't know how you've managed that. There's a huge space over there and they've landed right next to each other.
I could tell you, Phil, but I'd have to kill you.
So that's your hide.
That's my hide.
The piggy...
the piggy bank.
For God's sake, how have I only just got that? The stinky piggy bank from a company that won't be mentioned.
Yeah, a company that will be bleeped out.
Starts with an engine.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Did you have much?
No.
No, you were too busy actually going to talks.
I was too busy actually working, yeah.
You weren't actually a merch gremlin?
My merch were...
Oh, knowledge.
Knowledge.
Yes. Right,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The only thing I came with, actually, Karma and Ecology, they both gave me... you have like handouts, flyers, information, and they're all those impregnated with seeds, and you plant them. And a pack of seeds. Yeah, this is
pack of seeds from Ecology.
Yeah, that's and you can scan. So we'll put it on there as well. But
yeah,
brilliant stuff.
I did like that their business cards also, if they end up in landfill, they're not just going to be.
No, they're impregnated with seeds as well.
Yeah,
so it actually says on the back of their business card, soak it in water and then pop it in the soil, and it grows wildflowers. So I've got a stack of them. Do you know what? We'll do that. We'll do it.
We'll start that as part of our journey.
We'll put them on the... They'll become part of the podcast set.
Yeah.
You can check it in.
Good
on
idea,
every
Phil.
episode. You'll see if they've grown a bit more.
Yes.
So you'll be able to see how frequently we do the podcast.
Week 3, going great. Week 5, going well. Week 8, died. Got to water it over the weekend.
So, now we come to...
The merch gremlin himself.
Yeah.
Now,
Phil was seen ambling, I think, under the weight of all the merchandise. He had 2 broken backs.
I jokingly said I was carrying about 5 kilograms worth of merch.
At least.
I'd probably say it was close to being 3. I genuinely think I had about 3 kilograms worth of merch slung over my shoulder. But it was all for this segment of the podcast. It was all for the podcast.
No, you're a magpie.
No, it was. I was doing it for the podcast, for this section.
You're millennial, shiny and new.
No. Oh. So we'll go in, right? My pride is this Sage hoodie.
I know you worked quite hard for that.
And I had to work hard for this because the way Sage did their merch, it's just a black hoodie, by the way, with Sage on the front. The way they did their merch, the way they did the merch was you had to do 5 demos, you had to listen to a talk, and then you also had to take part in their kicking game, and you got a stamp at each one, and then you handed in your card, and you got to pick a bit of merch. Then the only way you could get the hoodie is if you got all 7. And I got all 7. And here it is.
7 sins.
The 7 sins.
Phil. 7 sins of
Sage.
Merchville.
Now, my hide, some people might have put this at the top.
I would have put you on my hide when it came to the merch.
That's horrible.
Ouch.
Now, on the surface, these look incredible, and you're like, what? At a convention? Wireless earbuds? Oh my god. These are...
Terrible.
Bleep that, me, in the future, but these are god-awful. Like, they feel
Can I?
horrible.
They look the part, though, don't they?
You know where these are going, right?
Oh, no.
Oh my god, that is...
These.
Oh,
I got in and I charged them, and I've tried these. The worst audio I've ever heard in my life.
They're massive.
They are. They've gone for the AirPods.
Oh my
look.
god, they got a button on them as well.
Yeah,
Look
it
at
turns
that.
it on. You press that, and then they start flashing and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're not great. They're probably going to sit on my desk, and then the only reason these would ever get used is if I forgot my headphones and I went to the gym and I really, really needed headphones.
Oh, you've given up on life.
Yeah, or I've given up on life. So nice idea, QuickBooks, but
Poorly executed.
yeah, very poorly executed.
What a shame.
Mm.
And that is
And
that.
that's it. That
Actually,
wraps
I think
up.
there's one thing we didn't mention.
Oh,
Actually,
no.
that?
That's what you've got on yourself there.
Oh, what this?
That should
this
have
whole
been.
thing?
That should have been
This whole thing?
your pride.
Yeah, it should have been.
This whole thing. Well, this is exactly not the same thing.
It's merch.
Yeah, but it's our merch.
So
It's the best.
In
merch.
fact, it's not our merch. It's their merch.
it is their merch. It is.
This is very ignorant, but no. This is VIB, stands for Very Important Beanie. And these beautifully crafted, handmade Egyptian recycled cotton T-shirts in navy grey with gold embossed lettering. And
I feel like I'm on the teleshopping channel.
And this watch here, yours for just 99p. Yes. What are we doing this, Phil? You're the merch man. What's the plan?
Well, last episode there was a phrase people could use.
There was. I think we'll change the phrase for Das. You know, I think I'll let you pick it this time, since I basically ratted you out with the squashies. You can pick the phrase that people come up to us at Das and go, "Hi, blah," and then boom, you get merch.
You know what he's trying to say, don't you?
Right. Okay.
What phrase or word? It's up to you.
Word? What are those little treats called?
Party rings.
I was going to say something like party rings, but that's probably not.
You can.
And Phil in the same sentence. No, it's been done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's deserved. You probably want, I'm a VIB, give me a T.
Oh,
Poet, and he know it.
I like that. Okay, we'll go with that. That's
Yeah.
good. Took a while to come up with,
It
but
did.
it was worth the
Had to
wait.
get the old juices flowing. Still drained from Accountex.
Yeah, I mean, aren't we all? But
Yeah.
okay, there we go.
I'm
That's
a
the
VIP.
phrase.
Give me a T.
I'm a VIB.
That's what I
VIB.
said.
I thought you said P.
No.
Very important Phil. That's what that would
sorry,
stand for.
sorry, Bill. Okay.
Right, so yeah.
So I'm
there
a
we go.
VIB. Give me a T, and that will be at DAS 23 on the 15th of June
Yes.
in Battle.
Battersea.
It is Battersea,
You
isn't
say
it?
Basildon.
Basildon.
I actually did have Basildon in my mind then. I used to work in Basildon.
I'm a VIB. Give me a T in Battersea.
Ooh.
Now maybe
People are going to remember that.
That's. I'm not just saying add that on the end. I'm just
Okay.
saying that just as how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And keep an eye out on our community page. That's beanies.botforthat.com for all the content that we were speaking about before. Some article summaries, some
Yeah, we'll be
videos,
summarising.
some. We'll do a talk about the Human Firm, our book review on that one.
Yeah.
That's all coming soon, so keep an eye out for that.
Like, comment.
Thanks for listening, Beanies. We'll see you in the next one.